Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another Imizizi conversation where we get to learn, grow, and get inspired together. So my name is Yolisa Tshabalala, and I will be your host for today. And in case you were wondering where your regular host is, I took up a challenge, to host a few of these conversations. So, which is why you're seeing my lovely face a few times. Just to recap, this quarter we've just been focusing on a theme called growth in a changed climate. And in January we opened up the year with Mboneng, where we zoomed in on business growth, how the business grew in the changed climate since the pandemic started, but we also touched on personal growth. And then last month in February, we were joined by Tuli, where we focused on health and wellness, investing in yourself, focusing on topics like mental health and physical health. This month, I'm very excited about it. We are joined by the lovely Sonia Dibakwana, and we will be summing up, the whole theme, growth in a changed climate, focusing on personal growth, career growth, all kinds of growth you can think of, including intellectual growth. So I'm really excited about today. And before we start, I just want to recap, on Sonia's profile, because I'm very excited about this one. She is someone that I personally look up to. So Sonia is the executive head of CVM Technology at Vodacom, and she has more than 20 years experience working in the IT field. And out of that 20 years, she has spent 15 years, in leadership roles. So you can imagine that we are really sitting with someone with a wealth of knowledge who's gone through the path and journey of growing as an individual, but also as a professional, working on such a big organization. And Sonia is also passionate about empowering up and coming talent through talks, mentorship, and coaching. So which is why we've invited her here today, because we want to learn, we want to have a conversation, get mentored, we can hear her story as well. And some of her major achievements is that Sonia studied for 4 years IT in Malaysia. She will tell us a bit about that. I'm hoping we get into that as well. And also, her career growth journey within Vodacom, leading up to her being the executive head of the division. That's really beautiful. And lastly, she says another major achievement for her is being a mother to her daughter, has been a major highlight in her life. And I loved, reading that last part, because it's all about balance, right? It's all about balance, being a balanced individual. It's not only about your career or your spiritual growth. You need to focus on everything and grow as an individual. And it's beautiful to hear that even, being a mother to your daughter is a big part of your life. Awesome. So before we start, Sonia, after reading your profile, as I was sitting and thinking about this conversation, someone else listening, to your profile might say, this person is, I'm sure she's grown already for her to be where she is today. But I want us to just take a step back and take it step by step. If you can just give us a bit of an overview of your background. Who is Sonia? Where are you from? What's your story, on your journey as you were growing up? Let's start there. Who's Sonia?
Okay, thank you, Eli. Thank you for inviting me today. I'm excited to be here, actually, to come and share my story, talk about growth in these changing times.
Yeah.
Wow, my story.
Yeah.
Who is Sonia?
Yes, who's Sonia? We want to know who
yes. Okay, where do I even start? You know, like everyone has a story.
Yeah.
You know, ask anyone, everyone has a story.
Yeah.
My story, just like most of the people around, started back then. Being this young girl, my mom working in the factory. My mom was she was a divorcee at the time. She got remarried again. Factory worker. Then she had to upskill herself to be like a fashion designer, and that's what she was doing. As part of fashion design, also more of a dressmaker in the township. You know, just upskilling herself and making sure that she was able to start her own business, especially when the factory shops, you know, back in the days, our parents used to work in factories, and now after certain economy changes, then that disappeared, then she started her own business at home in the township. My township, where I come from, is Orange Farm. I think it's one of those townships that, you know, when people say I'm from Orange Farm, they look at you twice, but yes, that's where I am from.
Known,
I didn't really grow up there. I grew up like in Zeerust, and it's one of the rural places in Northwest.
Northwest Rustenburg.
Yes, that's right.
Yes, close to Botswana.
Yes, that's where I grew up. That's where I did my primary school. Then my high school, I came to stay with my mom again, and did my high school this side. Varsity, I remember my story to the varsity is one of the things that excited me about. Literally applied almost everywhere. I was taking a chance, where will I get in? Not sure what how I'm going to enroll and stuff, but got UWC, University of Western Cape, was one of the most affordable ones that I could get in. Got my mom, I remember, she wrote me a check. I had 2 checks, one from Nedbank and another one from Standard Bank. Then those 2 checks, I think they were making around about like 5,000. I think that was all the money they could come up with between her and my stepdad at the time. They literally gave me those checks, and off I go inside and Cape. Here I am in Cape Town. Have to figure out myself in Cape Town. Goodness. 2 months in Cape Town, I got a call. Like someone just came and said to me, Mr. Whoever. No. Few steps back before that. Yeah. Coming from one of the lectures, one of the tutorials, I remember it was a computer science tutorial. First time you get into this computer science tutorial, you see in this computer, you get in there, they're like, code, edit. I'm like, what is that? Compile. You know that Hello World Java? That was my first nightmare. I had no idea what they were talking about. Then I'm coming tired, I get into the res room. I get a letter to say I must go and see Mr. Whoever. I'm like, oh my God, there it goes again. They are going to ask me about the fees for next semester and all that. Got there, and he says, okay, Telkom is looking for students to go write some exams, some scholarships, whatever. Had no idea at the time. I was just enjoying being at varsity. There I went to write these exams. Those exams were not making sense, but I was like, let me just wrote anyway. I just wrote anyway. Until one day someone came to me and said, are you not Sonia? I'm like, yes, I am. And so whoever is looking for you. Went there, when I found, it's like, why didn't you come and check? I'm like, why? I didn't make anything of
check
those
results.
The results,
yeah.
And he's like, no, you got in. Actually, Telkom have awarded you the bursary to go to Malaysia. It was around about, I think, 19 or 20 of us, and off we went. Wow. And ever since then, it has just been one step after the other. Came back, joined Telkom as a developer systems analyst. From then, registered for my master's with University of Pretoria. Then from then, moved within Telkom. Then attempted to go out of Telkom, went out of the telco environment, went to ABSA. Then I was like, I missed the telco, went back to the telco. That's where I ended in Vodacom. Yeah. And yeah,
you've just built your way up.
I've literally built my way up from the ground, you know, like from ground to where I am currently at Vodacom.
Yeah, I just want to stop you there because the story is so beautiful, and I just want us to make sure that we are taking out all the juices, you know. I think you started off with a very, very beautiful story about your mom, you know, and how she worked hard, you know, and not only that, she was also in business. You know, she was a businesswoman because she had her own dressmaking business, you know, in the township. And how she wrote a check for you as a start, you know, to give you a kickstart to get into varsity. I mean, that on its own is a beautiful, beautiful story, because a lot of people, especially us black people, especially back then, you know, it's really a privilege to have had someone in your life who's really planning already ahead for your career. And I guess that was the beginning, and it's a story that you hold very dear.
I do.
You know,
Yeah.
So in terms of that, you know, because I see that as a beginning and a reference point for you, you know, and it seems like you always go back there. Tell me some of the learnings, you know, that you learned from your mom, because to be such a strong person who can even pack up bags and go to another province, you know, on your own, that takes courage, you know. For me, it shows that mentally you were prepared and you had grown to an extent that you could take those leaps, you know, and make such decisions. So what are some of the learnings that, you know, if you can share with us, your mother, what did you learn from observing her, from, you know, having to hear what she says, observing her journey in business? What can you say about that?
Well, you know, that's such a nice question, actually.
Yeah.
Because when I look at myself, the woman that I am today, because my mom, she still does the same business.
Mm-hmm.
And now she's even, what she's doing, she's teaching other ladies
Wow.
to do their own businesses.
That's
you
someone
know,
who's
to do
always
their own-
growing.
But
Yeah.
she operates in her own circles, in her own, you know. But the key learnings I got out of her, and the fact that the fact that I could pack up my bags, and the fact that she gave me that freedom and the trust to say, my daughter, go pack up your bag, go pack up your bags, go. It's one of those things. She had that trust in me. She has always been a hard worker, and those are the key things that I take. Even today, you know, she'll be working across the night. You know, I'll go home at a certain point in time, then I get there, she's busy.
Yeah.
She'll be sleeping at 3 a.m., 12 a.m., December, especially during the wedding periods.
Yeah.
She's so
delivering
busy.
to clients.
Delivering. She's so, and those are some of the work ethics that I've learned from her.
Yeah.
Those are the work ethics I've learned from her, to always being able to just keep on doing, to keep on keeping on, you know. Hard work, putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
For her, when she was studying, I remember the time she had to. It was back then. We didn't have a car. We didn't have anything. We were staying in, you know, in Soweto, in a hired room. She had to go to work at the factory shops in Doornfontein. After that, go for classes. Then get into a train. Come back to Soweto. So that, I think, me growing up and looking up to that as a child, for me it was my role model. That's where my role model started from.
Yeah.
And to know that, you know what, in life you have to work for what you want.
Yeah.
It doesn't just come to you. You need to go out there and put yourself out there and work for it. So that's, I think, one of the key lessons that I've learned from my mom. And now when I reflect on it as I'm talking to you, have led to me being grown to this level that I am in.
Because that work ethic, you got it from your mother. And it's all about hard work, right? And I like, you know, the how you refer back to different parts of her journey, you know, wherever she's placed, basically. She was making sure that she puts in the effort and the hard work, you know, which is really a quality that we can all learn from, because that's also speaking to different climates, different environments. So wherever you are placed, making sure that you put in the effort and the hard work.
You know, when you say that, there's this saying that I like, and like what you're saying, it resonates with this saying that I like, saying, be the seed. Actually, when we came back, where that saying come from, when we came back from Malaysia, now we're working for Telkom at the time, they gave us, you know, those, like seats where you open up and there's a message inside.
Yeah. Is
The
it one of those that you crash?
Yes, those ones, you know, that there's my one that I still remember it even today. And whoever I talk to, I think most of the people that I've talked to them, they know about this. I always say, be the seed that grows. It's mine was saying, be the seed that grows wherever you are planted.
Yeah, I know that. I know that quote. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
And like you've just said, this almost the same thing, that you can grow in any climate that you are placed. For me, it is one of the things that when I remember as students, you know, coming from overseas, we had big dreams, you know. Then we get told you're going to be a developer. It's like, huh? Really? We thought we were going to come and take over.
You were ready to take over.
We were ready to take over.
Yeah.
But that message, it just stayed with me. It stuck with me. And even today, I still apply it in my life.
That's beautiful. Yeah. You know, there's one of our employees, Natalie, this week, she read a quote to us that says, don't stop until you are proud of yourself. Which is a bit hard because, you know, there's balance and all of that. But what I took from it is, no matter the odds, you know, it's a journey, right? You can take the breaks and make sure that mentally you are well, you are preparing yourself and all of that. But never ever give up. Don't stop until you are proud of yourself, you know. And for me, you know, those moments, and for me, it's like, when are you gonna be proud of yourself? Is it like when you get or reach, you know, whatever destination you have, 10-year plan that you have?
Yeah.
But the other thing that I extracted from it is whatever milestones you have, slow milestones that you have, pat yourself at the back, you know, that you've done well. And I think, to your point, with you being in Malaysia and coming back already, that was a big achievement, you know, for you. You made it. I mean, coming out of an environment like Orange Farm, at some point I heard you mentioning Soweto, you know, staying in the back room there, and all of that. And that's really beautiful. It shows a lot of growth in you as an individual.
Yes.
Okay, so now I just want to remember I said baby steps.
Baby steps. We'll get there.
And I think, you know, your journey as a career woman, especially as a black woman, you know, if I look back or go back, even for me, I mean, it's not an easy journey, especially for you in the career that you chose. I mean, IT was known to be for the males, you know. Now things are different, but I mean, back then, what are some of the challenges or the ceilings you had to break, you know, in your journey? You know, as you mentioned, a couple of organizations that you worked for, but just pinpoint, you know, just a few learnings.
The learnings in my career growth.
Yeah.
Wow, where do I even start? There's so much, you know, and sometimes when I look back, and this is one of the things that we normally don't look back. And one of one of my coaches once said to me, you know, you need to, she mentioned something like a toolbox, you know, you need to put together a toolbox where you go through this toolbox, then and that toolbox is around, look at the successes, you know, the things that you've achieved to be where you are. You're not here because of luck or affirmative action like most of people would like to believe.
Yeah.
You have the proven record. And for me, that's one thing. I think that was one of the turning point where I had to go back and reflect, you know, those initiatives from when I started my career, the projects that I've worked for, and actually succeeding on those projects, making them seeing things live. And I think one thing that is nice about IT is that you build something, you see it out there, you know.
Yeah.
You put a product, you see it happening, you see it, and you think behind, although you are playing a certain part of it, but that part of it, you can see the value you've added in them.
Yeah.
So putting together the toolbox, and that gave me that confidence to say, to know where I'm standing. I'm standing on the foundation. Because firstly, I think growth is about believing in yourself.
Yeah.
What am I standing on? I'm not standing just on sand. I'm not standing on luck. I'm not standing on I haven't been pitied for, you know. I'm standing on solid ground of the journey that I've walked in my career.
Yeah.
You know, on all these organizations, every step, every initiative that I've worked on. And doing that exercise, it brought so much learnings where, you know, when you reflect, you see, okay, yes, actually I've done this. I'm capable of this. I'm capable of this. You know, actually I can stand strong.
And it's building the confidence as well.
It's building the confidence. And it reassures me, and every time I look back, it reassures me that, you know what, I'm ready for another level. I'm ready for another level. And I think one of the things that I've learned upcoming in my career, you know, when I started, I was very confident. You know, I want to do this, I want that, I want to do this. Then reality hit, then it went, then, you know, you start, okay, just going with the waves and going with the waves. Then later on, it hit back that, you know what, this cannot be it. And being honest, I remember someone asked me, are you ambitious? And I was like, yes, I'm ambitious. Then she gave me a target at the time that I was like, how is this woman even expecting me to do this? She said, God, I won't even mention the organization, but she said, go talk to this organization and ask the CIO to coach you. I know he has done some coaching thing. Go talk to him to coach you. I was like, okay, let me set up the meeting. Then I set up the meeting. Then I had the first meet. Then that meeting, I think, was like in a month's time. Closer to that meeting, I was like,
what have you done?
What have I done? You know, sweating and all that. But I went in there. Then after that, it's like, you know what? Surely this person is a human being like me. And it's one of the things that as I grow up in my career, I realized that, you know what, people are just human beings. And the thing, like you've asked, like as a black child, one of the things I wish I can just tell a lot of us black women, other black women out there, it's possible. You know, we don't know how, but we cannot give up. We just have to keep on keeping on. It's not comfortable, you know. In IT, most of the time, especially back in the days, 90% of the time, you'll be sitting around a room full of guys. You know, guys of different color to you. You know, that biasness where guys, even today, this thing happen, guys want to talk to other guys. They relate better to other guys. You'll be sitting here, then they will talk to another guy next to you, and you'll be saying the same thing, but they won't listen to you, listen to the other. So I had to grow that thick skin to say, I'm not going to let these things to detect who I am or detect what I do and stuff. I am going to just keep on, and it's uncomfortable. And one of the key things also that I've learned when it comes to growth is to learn to being comfortable with being uncomfortable. You know, that uncomfortability, it will happen for that period of time, but it won't stay for long. When you pass through, you look back and say, wow, I've passed through that. How did I do it?
But you'll be on the other side.
You'll be on the other side. There's a lot of learning points. I remember at some point, there was a time when I joined Vodacom, actually I joined in Cape Town, then I remember at some point I lost 2 guys in the team at the same time. And someone asked me, what are you going to do? You know, how are you going? I'm like, you know what, actually I'm not sure. But one thing I'm sure about is that after this experience, I will know how to deal with it next time. I will learn from it. And I think those opportunities to just be open up to things, to say, you know what, I don't know it all, but I am willing to roll up my sleeves and learn. I am willing to walk the journey and learn, because that's just what it is.
So I feel like you've mentioned quite a number of things, and I just want to just pick and highlight them or stress them so that we have them on top of mind. So you mentioned the toolbox, you know, success, which speaks to almost taking a step back, taking stock, you know, of your successes. And I guess what that does is it's a reaffirmation, you know, of who you are and your achievements, because wherever you are, at whichever point you're in, you know, you are there because of the background, but now you take stock of that and look forward to, you know, what's next, and how can I utilize the learnings and the growth that's brought me this far to take me up to the next level. You know, that's quite powerful, and I think we don't do that enough. I'm learning to do it now, and I thank God for my coach as well, who makes sure that at every point, you know, you take stock and you recognize your achievements and all of that. And then you also mentioned something about being uncomfortable.
Yes.
You know, which I think the uncomfortable situations are the ones that actually take us or push us to the next level. Because for as long as you are comfortable at a certain level, you've reached, you know, a point of no growth, so to speak, you know.
Yes.
But what really makes the jump is those situations that really stretch you. I mean, if I refer back to Boneng and myself, after we started the business, you know, and we just said to ourselves, you know what, we want 100 employees. After, I think it was after the first year already, we were like, we're aiming for 100 employees. And at the time, I think we only had, I think it was around 10, or if even we had 10 at that time. But we wanted, you know, our vision was so big, and it became so uncomfortable, you know, even thinking about it, to your point where, you know, someone said to you, set up a session with that person, are you ambitious, you know? But at the end of that financial year, we had achieved it.
Exactly.
Like literally, we had achieved it and exceeded.
Yes.
You know, and those experiences are what we hold so dear throughout, and you refer back to it because it shows you whatever uncomfortable situation you get faced with, you refer back and you're like, I was uncomfortable then, but I still did it.
Yes.
You know, and that's just so beautiful at every step.
You know, it reminds me of the other example that I have. I must be honest, I'm blessed with my leader, the leader that I have. He's a male, he's a white male.
Yeah.
But he's so supportive, and
that's beautiful.
You know, I said maybe it's not about luck, but when it comes to this one, I'm blessed to have a leader like this.
Wow.
So at some point, I remember, I think it was one of those things that really, I think it shattered the ceiling for me. He's in Cape Town, I'm here. There's this town hall sessions. Then he's like, Sons, you need to present for me. I'm like, oh, what do I need to present? Where? Yeah. He's like, I'll send you my deck. I've done the Cape Town presentation. I cannot be in Joburg. You are the only, at the time I was still a manager at Telecom. You are the only manager that I have that you can do this for me.
Sure. And the audience, something you've never
Town hall,
done before.
like in a big auditorium.
Yeah. Everybody's eyes, everyone is looking at you. Big organization, I can imagine.
Wow. And you know, he trusted me with that. And ever since that, I was shaking and doing all kinds of things.
Yeah.
I managed to deliver the presentation.
Yeah.
But it was that, and it was so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Even just the thought of where am I going to even start? You know, how am I going to even, you know, sometimes if it's your own presentation, it's better you've made it.
Yeah.
No, this one is someone.
You've inherited it, but you must make it work.
So it's those things that, you know what, sometimes it's those, and that's where you grow. Because for me, I must be honest, it's one of those turning points for me. It was literally a turning point. After that incident or that time, I grew. And growth happens at that point when you get out of the comfort. There's nothing that happened in comfort zone. I only say if it was easy, then everyone will be doing it. If it was easy, everyone will be having their own businesses. But what you and Ponenga is doing is something that is special to you guys. So, and that's one thing about growth, comfort zones, and being uncomfortable. It will be uncomfortable, and it's okay for it to be uncomfortable because you are growing. You know, it's like a seed, or you know, like a child when they grow. There is that that happens.
And you just have to constantly keep on feeding it,
keep on feeding it, keep on watering, then eventually you get this beautiful tree, beautiful plant.
And even the tree never stops growing.
Exactly. Once the tree, that's when, remember when you said, when do we get to a point where we're saying we've arrived or whatever? That tree never stops growing.
Yeah.
It keeps on growing.
Through the season. Sometimes it loses its leaves.
Yes.
Sometimes, you know, the flowers come back, they bloom, they're beautiful, you know. So I think as individuals, we just have to be patient with ourselves and just also not be too comfortable in the comfortable spaces.
Exactly.
But push ourselves in those uncomfortable spaces, because that's what pushes us to the next level. So the other point that you mentioned that I want to extract is sometimes you might not know, but the willingness that you have to make it work is what pushes you to grow. That is so powerful, you know, because we sometimes put pressures on ourselves that you must know everything. I mean, it's the first time you're doing this, like it's the first time you're in this position, it's the first time, it could even be, it's the first time being a mother, you know, but you don't know, but you just have to be willing to grow and make it work, you know, read up, YouTube,
there's so much content out there.
Exactly. Like,
there's so much.
Yeah, yeah.
The willingness part is the important part, to say, you know what, I don't know. What do I do? So what's next? Who do I need to talk to? Where do I go forward? And just getting in there. Sometimes I think one other thing we do, we let with that not knowing. And one thing that also is hindering a lot of growth in a lot of people is fear. You know, I'm afraid, but what are we scared of? What if we're not afraid? What if?
Yeah.
You know, what if?
And fear is crippling, right?
Very crippling. And I think it's holding us back, a lot of us, especially black women, where we like say, you know, I'll just work, my work will talk for myself. You know, that fear coming in and kicking in and stuff, to say, I won't say anything in the meeting. You don't have to say things just for the sake of saying things, but if you have got something to say,
your voice counts, right?
There's a reason why we put a voice. I'm enough. And I think that's one of the things as black women we need to be comfortable with, that we are enough.
Yeah.
You know?
That is powerful.
And it doesn't come easy. I'm enough. I'm allowed. I'm allowed. I'm enough. It doesn't come easy, but it's those things it's important as part of growth, that we need to be open and get comfortable. And it's uncomfortable for us to go through that, but we need to be comfortable with that uncomfortability.
Yeah, and break the fear. Okay, and then I feel like we've spoken a lot about, you know, your career path and all of that, but I feel we do need to speak about the climate, you know, because that's reality. Right? Because we can talk about all these things pie in the sky, but someone else might be like, but my reality is that the climate is like this. The climate is uncomfortable. It's always rainy season for me. I never see the sunshine, you know. And someone else might say, with the pandemic, since the pandemic started, you know, it's been downhill. You get what I'm saying? I mean, with the pandemic, I've spoken to, I like to say, two different kinds of people, because we were all in the same climate, right? The pandemic happened to everyone. Whether you are an individual, you are an organization, small or big, we were all in the same climate. But you sort of had individuals who said, we are here, you know, the climate is here, but what can I do, you know, to survive, to make it, to grow in this changed climate? And then you sort of have other people as well who just can't seem to get out, you know, they feel like they're drowning, constantly drowning. We'll get to those people in a moment, you know, but I want us to talk about, you know, from a personal point of view, starting there, we'll get to the career part of it. From a personal point of view, with the pandemic and us being affected, all of us, and we were in lockdown and all of that, you know, what are some of the, you know, the growth paths that you sort of went through? Because I mean, for me, psychologically, during that time, I went through a whole lot. You get what I'm saying? I was thinking about, you know, will we ever get out of this situation, you know, possibilities, you get what I'm saying, family, people are losing their family, what's going to happen to my family, is this the end of the world, you get what I'm saying? There's a whole lot, but you sort of have to fight all of that in your head and grow through all of that and make sure that you are making it as a person, even before you consider everybody else. So what was going through your mind in that time?
Wow, that was quite exciting times. I think initially when the news broke about COVID, I was like, oh, okay, maybe that won't come here. Then one person got tested, then from there, it never stopped.
So I think so fast it happened.
Very fast. Yeah. I think the first thing that hit us, I remember we went that other weekend we went somewhere to the Val with my friends, and we get there, they're like, oh, we can't sell this, we can't sell. I'm like, okay, why did we even go out if we can't? Then it's like, okay, we are not even aware what's coming ahead. Lockdown happened. Firstly, it was difficult to adjust working from home. Yeah. My daughter here, she's here. By the way, this daughter that I'm talking about, she's 13 years old. She's not a little girl. She's like just as big as me.
But she'll always be your little girl.
She is, you know, and I'll be working there, and then she'll be on online schooling.
Yeah.
Then she'll be in class, maybe she's answering, I'm also talking in the meeting. They're like, ask your mother to.
Oh my goodness.
Connection only worked in one side of the house. Fortunately, we could have like at least proper sitting places and stuff. Yeah. Because I know, not like I can imagine, I know, looking at where I came from, looking at other people in my team, you know, they had to sit on the couch to work. So imagine sitting on the couch to work with on your laptop the whole day. Yeah. We're stuck in meetings the whole day. So that mental thing, it happened. It was not an easy thing that just happened. I think at that time I was still very positive, still very yes, I'm up for this. You know, I was one of those that used to run 10 times around the house because we couldn't go out.
Yeah, we couldn't go out at all. Yeah.
So I ran like 10 times around the house, saying I still want to keep fit.
That's good.
It didn't last long. That was the beginning of it, you know. Yeah. That was the beginning of it. You know, I think then, you know, the whole story of COVID, it happened. Then it went downhill. Then it's like, okay. You know, then the fridge is the only walk you start making is to the fridge because it's looking at you.
Yeah.
Then going outside, even for a walk or for a run, now that things are open, it's like, it's more difficult. You know, then we got into that slump of things, and you know, where things we just changed all the routines we used to have. You know, waking up, going to work, and doing certain things. Just continues to just wake up, wear whatever, go down, you work. You know. Yeah. Then that being it. The health, the mentality, and that's when I realized that, you know what, your physical being and your mental being,
there's a link. Yeah.
You know, even like things about Christianity and all those kind of things, that faith, all those things are linked. Once one of them is not functioning, the other one you can feel the impact.
Yeah.
So for me, I went through that. Then I felt that, you know what, when now I had to. Like one of the things that kept me going, I'm not a fitness fanatic, but exercising helps me to keep going. Yeah, it really helps me to keep going. That's how I survive the exciting in my life, the excitement in my life when it comes to my work, exercising. So at some point it was like, okay, exercising becomes last thing in the mind. We enjoy the comfortability, we enjoy just relaxing and doing work and just chilling, watching TV and stuff. Yeah. Then I got to study at that point. I got registered with one of the institutions. I don't know if it was a blessing in disguise or what. You had to study from home, Zoom classes, and I started taking walks again, trying to get back at it, but I struggled to get back into any physical form of anything for that at that time. Yeah. My mom got sick, my daughter got sick, like literally the entire household got sick with COVID.
Yeah.
I remember at the time we were having class, I just broke down in class. Like, in a Zoom call, I just broke down. I just couldn't take it anymore. Then I just, luckily the professor, the lecturer at the time, she was very understanding, very accommodating. She was like, you know what, take time off. I still have to rewrite that exam that I didn't write because I was like, I'm not even going to, I just put everything aside. Looked after my family. And I think that was the best thing I did for myself. And because most of the time, knowing myself, I was going to try to do it all. And I'll be juggling all these balls, and I will not be doing any justice to all of them. Work, school, family. And with my family, I had to take food from my house, go to a ranger farm, then give them food, come back. My daughter here, because my daughter, for her to get sick, she was with them. So I was the only one who was safe out of the whole thing.
And that must have been strenuous.
It was strenuous, but one thing, I took time off from work, from everything, and just focused on that. And it's one of the things I am very thankful that, first of all, the fact that I could afford to do that. My work gave me that option to do that, even to give myself space to go through that was one of the things. So now coming out of it now, going back to normal. Remember when we started, we complained, oh, working from home, how are we going to do it? Now coming out of it, now we got told we need to get back to the office.
That's another adjustment.
That's another adjustment altogether. What about traffic? We're wasting time on traffic.
And now all of a sudden
I need to pick up my kids from school. I need to have this. I can't even do this. I can't gym anywhere as if I was gymming before. There's a list of there's a list of why.
Do we need to? I'm productive at home.
I'm more productive at home. One of my favorite ones is that, anyway, I spend my whole day in meetings.
Exactly.
And I look rude at people because they want to talk to me, they can't talk to me, I've got all this. So now there's another readjustment to getting back to
work.
What was normal, or the new normal, because I don't know what's normal anymore. But we need to make whatever is normal for us the new normal to work for us.
We can never go back to then and to the normal.
Exactly.
No. I mean, there's a lot of mental strength and a lot of mental growth that I'm taking from this. I mean, also just by you registering to even start school, that on its own, which shows you always want to grow as a person, as an individual, and you're always looking for the next level. What can I do? But the beautiful thing I think also we can take from there is that sometimes it's okay to just say, you know what, not now. Not now. And I think I made a similar decision myself, because I want to get certified as a director with IOD SA, and it's been a journey, right? I still haven't written the exam and all of that, and I was like passionate. I'm gonna do this. I said targets and all of that, and at the end of the day, life happens. The business gets hectic and all of that, and even for me, I had to be like, you know what, Yoli, it's okay to say not now. I still have it as a vision, as a target.
Still there.
I'm still gonna achieve it. It's just a matter of not now, and that's growth. That's maturity. That's it takes a lot of mental health and not to feel like a failure.
Exactly. It reminds me. There's this picture. I think you've seen it. A lot of people have seen that picture where it talks about success, where it shows success as one line. What we think success is one line, and the reality of success it's exactly that.
The journey. It's never a straight upward. Exactly.
We think that just by I'm gonna just go up. It's gonna go, and it's okay to just sometimes go around the circles and stuff.
No, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. And speaking of a changed climate, there's a story that you told me. you know, and I want you to share it with everyone, you know, because for me it was such a defining moment, and I think I'll remember that story. It's your story, but I'm adopting it as well, and I'll remember it forever because there's so much beautiful learnings. But I don't want to tell the story because I know I can just ramble and end up telling it myself. So if you can just share with us the story about when you were driving to your mother, you know, and what happened along the way, and the growth that came out of that, because I feel like it sums up this topic of growth in a changed climate beautifully.
Wow, yeah, that's one of the stories I also like talking about. And okay, what happened is that one day I was driving from Vodacom, going to, at the time I was based in Cape Town. I used to come to Joburg for, like, if there's certain things or holidays and stuff, then I'll stay in Orange Farm at my mom's place. So this day I was driving from Vodacom to Orange Farm. I leave Vodacom, here I am driving, you know, singing, enjoying music. Then just as I off-ramp to join, what is it, N1 to Bloemfontein, it starts raining. Just before Rivonia, it starts raining. It's pouring, it's pouring, it's pouring. People are stopping, literally under the bridge, you know, they're stopping.
So it was raining hard.
It was raining very hard. You can't see. And I was like, you know what, I'll just go to put, to drive slow, put my lights, put the wipers, I'll get them. I'm just going to just drive through this, you know. And that's exactly what I did. I just drove. But the funniest part of it, and what made me, what the exciting part about the story, is that hardly 5 minutes after that, the rain just literally, there was no rain. And you could see even the ground there, it had never really rained there. So that rain was just raining in that patch of the road, or that area, or
that section,
that particular section where it is. And for me, the way I looked at it, it's just like life. You know, we are in a journey. We go through those patches where it's rough, it's uncomfortable. And that's where that thing of being comfortable with being uncomfortable comes in. You know, just being that uncomfortable and just saying, you know what, I'm driving through this. I will make it at the end of this. I don't have to rush. I don't have to be frustrated. I had to put extra effort, of course, because now I'm driving on wet road. I need to increase my vision. I had to put extra effort in what I'm doing. But I was adamant that I'll get on the other side. I didn't know how long I was going to be in that situation. But my thing was just to get on the other side. You know, I thought maybe it was going to rain like that. I was prepared to ride along in that condition.
Until you get to the destination.
Until I get to the destination. My important part was the destination.
Only to find out just hardly 5 minutes.
And how many times do we go through that in life? I can count number of occasions that I've, in life, career, everything. Where it's
still get goosebumps, even though I'm hearing it for the second time. You know? And for me, I felt like that story is so important for this topic, because it's about, you know, the climate. Everybody that was driving with you on that road, you were all in the same climate, right? It was raining for everybody. Others decided to stop on the side of the road, you know, and others decided to continue. And the ones who decided to stop, you don't know how long they remained in that situation, but they could have remained in that situation for much longer than is supposed to just focus, you know, on the destination with the extra effort. I like that part. You know, the extra effort, because now you had to, you know, make sure that you are focused, hands on the steering wheel, you know,
like everything is
hazards on, lights and all of that, which shows about life. You know, in order to grow to the next level and the next level and the next level, you always have to choose the path less traveled by everybody else. You get what I'm saying? Like, you have to make that extra effort, that destination. I'm getting there. And the beautiful part about life and the learnings that I've learned is that, to your point, more often than not, even though you think you're gonna be in that situation until forever or until you get to that destination, but you know, situations never last long. They never last long. For as long as you are continuously going at it, you know, continuously putting in the effort, before you know it, you are in a much better position, in a much better situation. And I just feel like that sums up the whole theme about, you know, what we've been trying to learn. And I think today we've touched on almost everything that we've been touching on throughout the quarter, you know, the growth as a person, as an individual. We've touched on career growth. We've touched on, you know, health, physical health, the mental health that you need, letting go of fear, you know, but also the willingness for the person to grow, you know, whatever the climate may be. And I just feel like that is a beautiful summary. Any last thoughts, any last words from you, Sonia, before we wrap up?
Yes, for me there is this book, A Growth Mindset. In that book, it's about, you know, it's okay to not know something yet. It's about understanding the power of the word yet.
Yeah.
I don't know yet. I'm not there yet. So, and it allows our mind to always be open to grow. I think the other saying is that you must always be, it's either you are half full or half empty, you know, but always having that. It's a growth mindset. It's Martha Dweck. It's like, that book is one of the books that I enjoy reading. It's about the power of the growth mindset. Always, if change happens, it's a new opportunity to learn. It's like, oh, I don't know this yet.
Yeah.
You know, it's that yet is just to say, it's for now, but I will learn. I've got potential to learn. I've got potential to grow. Always being open to expand. Always being open to include, to input new things. You know, like kids. You know, kids are very good when it comes to those things.
They absorb everything. They're like a sponge.
Yes, because they've got that mind of yet. I think for me, is that anyone who can read that book, A Growth Mindset, it's something that is quite important, and it helps to just be open to growing and just be comfortable being uncomfortable. That's what I'll say to everyone as my close.
Wow, thank you so much. That was beautiful. Thank you so much, Sonia, for honoring our invitation to join us at Imizizi for the Imizizi Conversations. I'm sure, you know, we'll be reaching out to you again, maybe in a few years.
No, thank you for having me here. I'm excited to do this.
Yeah, no, I've learned a lot personally, and I'm sure our viewers as well have learned a lot. So for now, thanks everybody for joining us, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.